morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Armoury and welcome to the Keep, Sell or Loan show. This time it's forwards. We did a fantastic centre back one yesterday. We've got three wonderful guests, not just two. Returning once again is Tony. How are you doing, Tony?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. We'll go into James next. How are you doing, James?
Good, man. Been a while. Good to be back. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the show.
Cool. And then Canners, who was late, which is why we started late. How are you doing, Canners? Oh, I'm gonna out you.
Yeah, no. Apologies. Yeah, I'm good. Good. Stress from work, but good.
So, right, before I do the intro, I want a question. How many strikers do we want at Arsenal, right? The reason is because Arteta wants two quality players for each position. But do we, as fans, want three for the forward? Tony, I'm going to ask you, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm taking three.
Okay, James.
Two.
Canners.
I'm actually torn between two or three. But I'm going to
Why are
say
you
two.
torn on? Why are you torn on two and three?
I'm torn it because I'm happy to have Balogun back. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of torn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't want a different type of striker, like a tall.
Do you know
physically
the thing
strong?
is what we have at the moment, and the way we're playing, the goals are spread.
Yeah.
So what my thinking is that the way we're playing, we're giving teams trouble and problems, which can come from anywhere. If you have, I mean, with City, they're geared towards kind of, they're centered around their attacks around Haaland. That's why I guess fair enough. He's scoring a shed load of goals, but it's going to be bloody hard to find another Haaland to kind of, to be the main focal point. So the way what we have at the moment, what we're doing is sharing the goals around with, you could say, like a striker / false nine. I think is working very, very well at the minute because the stuff that Jesus does, no one can replicate that. The stuff that Eddie does, with his, Fox in the box kind of stuff, no one can replicate that. And it would be very interesting to get another profile of player like Balogunner. So that's why I'm kind of a little bit torn between the two.
Fair enough. It's going to be interesting because we've got a youth player that is tall and strong, but not fast. So he changes the dynamic of Arsenal, how we would have to play. So it's going to be interesting.
Trossard as well. Sorry.
No. Honestly, all three of them have been mentioned today. Just want to quickly go into the comments. G-Talks, this one should be good. Big up to Gunner King. Quality show title once again. By the way, I know I did like that one as well. Well done, Tony. Once again. Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all right. BX Gunner. Room for one more 3 to 4 strikers. Okay. 3 strikers for G, 3 strikers for Luke, and he's saying Jesus, Trossard, and Balogun. Okay,
what happened to Eddie?
Well, this is what we're going to talk about. This is why we're going to do this show, because obviously it needs to be talked about. But firstly, it's this. Now, obviously, I had to put my favourite on there. I'll let you decide who my favourite is later, but my favourite's on there, and he doesn't play for Arsenal right now.
I know who it is.
But yeah, you know who it is because I mentioned him yesterday. I can't wait to see him in an Arsenal shirt. Right, I'm gonna have to go full screen. So, guys, no funny faces because I can't see you. Right, so these are our 3 forwards. We're going to start talking about Trossard first. We're going to leave Eddie till last this time. Okay, so he's 28, right-footed. We bought him for 21. His current market value is 28. This season, he has played 12 games, scored 1 goal, 6 assists, 7.12 in average rating. Attacking stacks. Now, his XG is 5.79. I'm not a big fan of XG, but it's a lot of what people look at, so I've put it on there. Big chances missed is 3. Shots per game is 1.8. Shots on target per game is 0.8. His passing stats. Now, this is very important because of the way that Arsenal play. So I have put that in here. Touches per game is 40.2 and passing accuracy is 77. I'm not going to talk about discipline because they get yellow cards for stupid reasons. We're going to go into Jesus next. His 25, signed for 45. His current market value is £69 million, which is amazing. Appearances 23, goals 5, 7 assists, average rating of 7.04. Attacking stats is XG 8.22. Big chances missed is 12. I'm not the one that does this, so don't shoot me. I'm not the one that decides the big chances. Shots per game is 3.3. Shots on target per game is 1.3. Again, touches per game is 48. Passing accuracy of 82. And then we'll go into Eddie. Obviously, signed for nothing because he came for our youth. Current market value is only 17 million. Appearances this season, it's 32, 9 goals, 2 assists, average rating of 6.86. Arsenal career 124 appearances, 32 goals, 4 assists. His attacking stats is XG is 7.52. Big chances missed is 10. Shots per game 1.7. Shots on target per game is 0.6. His touches per game, now obviously this is quite shocking. His touches per game is 18.6. His partisan accuracy is 82. So we're going to talk about Trossard first. They're all the stats. Now I'm going to start with you, James, because I trust your opinion. Not that I don't trust Canners or Tony, but James is the god. James is the god when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, what have you made of Trossard this season? How do you think he's fitted into our style of play?
Yeah, he's an interesting player because, I mean, for me, in terms of the profile-wise, he's like a inverted winger in the sense that he doesn't play touchline. He doesn't do like an inside forward like Martinelli does or Rashford. He's not the playmaking creative type that we have in Saka. He's a unique, different player in the sense of like he operates in the 8, he operates at the centre forward position, and he operates on the touchline sometimes, right? Yeah. But for me, he's everything you want to play this style. He's the closest thing within our team currently to Jesus in the sense of enabling others to get forward, because the way we attack is through our wingers. And to get him for what, 25 million quid for him to play across, well, 2 key positions here. I think he's been outstanding. I'm struggling to think of, in terms of impact wise, goals and assists, a January signing that we've made that has done it better. Maybe our Shavin, I don't know. But yeah, I think he's been incredible. I don't know what the other guys are thinking, but yeah, for me, he's what we want in this Arsenal system, and he's a player that's just so technically gifted. I'm pretty sure you could play him at the Zinchenko role. You could play him at the Ben White role. Like he's just got so much technical security. Like, yeah, I love him. I think he's really, really, really good.
Canners, opinion
on Trossard?
Yeah, on Trossard. We're going to do one play at a time, and then we'll do the Vikey.
Listen, there's no secret for me how much I think this guy is just tremendous. His goal involvements, what he's done since he's come in has been phenomenal, really, to keep us going and to keep everything ticking over. It's like everything, because he's just fitted in like a glove, really, and the talks that you hear from from various sources of how he says that he's so settled here and everything. It's just a dream right now to have a player like that in our system. It can only get better. I would like to see him score more goals. Yeah. If I'm being totally honest. James, I'm going to give you a name actually that's probably hit the ground running a bit like Trossard. Use probably a wee little nappies then. Reyes. He was a player that kind of like hit the ground running and kept us going. But yeah, Trossard, as January signings go, you can't really you can't grumble, can you? At all.
No. Tony?
Yeah, I mean, the guys have hit the nail on the head there. He's fit right in. Absolute bargain as well. We got him for.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen what he's done in the Premier League. He's been in the Premier League for several seasons now, and you know exactly what you're getting. And he was ideal, especially when Jesus was out. There were games in the past before the window that Newcastle, for example, stood out in my mind that Fred Trossard in there, he would have come on and changed the game. We probably would have got a goal. So he's been brilliant, and we got a few years of him. So I'm happy with him.
Right, we're going to talk about keep loaning or selling him. Now, Tony has done a Twitter poll, and we'll talk about this later. The Twitter poll. James, we're going to start with you. You're going to keep, sell, or loan Trossard. I'm probably not going to be shocked by anybody's answer.
He's I'll just say in the forward line, I think there's 4 players that are dead cert keeps, and the rest is open to discussion, and he's one of them that is a keep for me.
Okay, Canners?
Yeah, I keep all day long, innit?
Tony?
Keep.
Yeah.
You don't say anymore.
Exactly. Obviously, it's me as keep as well. All right, we're going to go into Jesus. We'll start with Tony. What have you made of Jesus since he signed for Arsenal? Obviously, we've been missing him the past 3 months in terms of the style that we play up front, but not in the terms of the actual performances. What have you made of him so far? What we've seen?
It's his all-round game, isn't it? He's everywhere, and again, like, he's another one that can play along the front line like Trossard. You can go on the left-hand side and go on the right side. They're all interchangeable, and that's what he's given us as well. And obviously, people will always pick that up, but he's a striker, but where's his goals? But as Can has alluded to, he said, look, the goals come from everywhere. As long as the goals are coming from elsewhere, if he does what he does, well, look at the position we're in. Look at the position we were in before he went to the World Cup. So, he gives us more. He was what Arteta was trying to do with Lacazette, but Lacazette couldn't really do what Jesus does. He's a bit more mobile, Jesus, and I'm not saying that Lacazette wasn't, but he does it better, and he has the winning mentality. Obviously, being at City for the amount of years that he's been there, he's got that winning mentality, and he trusts the players around him as well. So, and obviously, working with Martinelli, obviously the Brazilian connection, that all works as well. So, yeah, man, he's been an absolute breath of fresh air for this Arsenal team. And you saw it. He's come back. He's only made a few cameos since he's come back. Yeah, he started one game, but he obviously come off early in that game as well. So, obviously, I think the national breaks come just in time for him, because we're gonna need him for the final few games.
100%. Canners?
Listen, this guy for me is phenomenal. Again, I'd love to see him score more goals, because it's not like he doesn't get the chances. I just want him to kind of just be that bit more clinical. He does everything, what you'd want your striker to do. He's aggressive. He's a pest. He's totally ridiculously skillful. I've seen him, control balls coming out of the sky with snow on them. Do you know what I mean? That's how how good his touch is. Listen, I love this kid, man, and I just think he's only gonna get better. If he can I think that will complete him. Just his finishing, just his his ratio of finishing, because it's not like they are or they have been half chances. There have been some glaring misses, but he's got credit because of everything else that he does. I mean, if you look at his stats, what you got there, he's got more assists than goals, and that kind of for his game and the way he does it and brings people into play, he takes 2 people out the game and frees up one of the wingers, which are and that's the whole what Arteta is geared towards, really, is him causing wreaking havoc, drawing players towards him, so he can just pop it off to one of the others who are free or one-on-one. Simples.
James, your opinion on Jesus?
Yeah, he's someone I've wanted for ages. He, for me, and I'll bring him up because I know you guys love him as much as I do. It was Jesus and Declan Rice for me that I've wanted for about 2-3 years, that I think have been unbelievable. So when we signed him, I was over the moon, because there was I don't know if you guys have seen, there was a story about how he's going to Real Madrid last summer before the non-EU spots were filled. So they couldn't sign him because they had too many non-EU players. Thank God for that, because he is unbelievable. When I first watched him, I feel like I misprofiled him in the sense of I thought he was almost like how Martinelli is, but I would liken him more to how Firmino is now, and how Klopp has used Firmino in his system to how Arteta wants to use Jesus in our system. And Tony, you put a good point about how Lacazette, he was using Lacazette to the end of last season, almost as that centre forward, just, you know, with a extra £20 and no mobility. So Jesus is just everything you want. He presses, he interlinks everything. He just, he's, if you're looking for someone that's just going to enable your whole team to step up a level, he's that guy. And it's a blessing we have him. And
40 million as well. Now just seems like
it's
a
bargain. Well,
ridiculous.
that's what I put in the chat last night. Is we've done our rebuild up until this point. I'm not including Pepe in this because he wasn't an Arteta signing. Is every player that Arteta has signed so far has been under £50 million. Ben White's been the most expensive signing, which is crazy to think about. But he's Jesus is unbelievable.
I've got a couple of questions to ask James before I move on, actually, now, because he's brought one up. If we sign Declan, what are you going to do in the summer?
What am I doing?
Yeah, because that means you'll be your 2 dream signings.
What am I going to do? I don't know. I don't know. That he's the player that I think is going to see us either dominate the league. I say dominate in the sense we're going to be right up there with City and maybe.
James, I think you're right. Don't go back on that. I think I
feel like
there are certain places that we can get where we can actually, and I do truly believe, start dominating this league.
Yeah, I saw the loose cannons episode yesterday, and I agree.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't one of them, though. Sorry.
No, not anymore, bro. He's been injured. But 2 years ago, maybe.
2 years ago, with what we had.
To remind you of that one. No, that was.
Bro, hey, I've explained myself in the WhatsApp. For the time, it was a logical signing, but now
we're dining at a different table right now. We're dining at a different table now. Do you know what I mean? So we ain't looking in bargain basement anymore.
No.
The other question for you, James, is: are you expecting us to spend more than 50 million on one player this summer?
Yeah, this is going to be our Alisson Van Dijk window. It's got to be. I'm saying minimum of 2 players being over 70 million. We might get a third. Third is unlikely, but I think we're going to get 2. Bro, we need to do it. I hate this whole, we don't want to spend money because it's not value, right? There's players that are good value for high expenses, and I'm sick and tired of us having a record signing of 72 million and it being like, we can't spend that money because he's been a flop, right? You want to compete with the big boys, rip off the Band-Aid and get a player that's worth that much and then see how he performs. There's a difference of if he bought, I guarantee you, right? If we bought, I don't know, right now, another player that outside of Pepe that was valued at 72 million coming into this team, coming into this coach, nobody would bat an eye because he'd seamlessly slot in and he'd take us up a level. I just feel like spending that much on a player with a disoriented squad and management at 72 million quid has just left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And
it was a panic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but it was an overpay. But it's just, I don't know. I'm of the mindset of if the player's right and the market opportunity is there, go and do it. And I feel like there's 2 players in particular this summer that I really want us to get. One is Declan Rice and the other one is another winger, but we're on forwards at the moment, so I'll keep that to myself. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask one more question. I'm going to ask all 3 of you now. If Arsenal spent over 50 million on 2 players and then also brought 3 more players, would you collapse in shock? I'm going to ask you, Tony, first.
Yes, just because the way we've been doing business.
Okay.
Because
Canners?
like James
said, listen, I'm getting on, mate. Don't do that to my ticker. That would probably send me over the edge. Spending how much?
Close to 200.
Well, do you know what? It's big club mentality, isn't it? Really. We've got to start thinking along those kind of,
It's going to be the Champions League. We have to.
Yeah.
And then James, would you be shocked?
No. And I'll be completely honest. Why is not a lot of people were. Everyone's saying, we need 2 central midfielders, we need 2 forwards, we need this and that, right? Do you understand how big our squad is currently? There's very little in position wise that we actually need a body in for the addition of the squad. we have a lot of midfielders. We have a lot of forwards, especially with Balogun coming back, and if we're signing Reece Nelson to an extension, we have there's somebody who's got to make way, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of outgoings that are going to happen in order to do this. So no, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like I don't know if you guys saw the interview. I think it was Jamie Carragher where Arteta said there was a 5-step plan, and we're currently on step 3 out of 5, and we're overachieving from where we are currently. I feel like from step 3 to step 4 is we're going to sell some key figures, and we're going to alternate how we play a little bit more, evolve. So no, I don't think we're going to. I'd be surprised, to be honest. I can see it happening.
Yeah, there's going to be. We're going to have to be prepared to lose 2 players that we look.
I think Tierney and Smith Rowe. Tierney and Smith Rowe.
Okay,
that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay,
not what I want to happen, but that's what I think.
You know what? I'm going to write them down because I've been told who they are, so I'll let you know at the end of the season.
Do you know what? There's one thing though we've got to take into account, and that is obviously we will be in Champions League next year. Is the player quota, the homegrown quota?
Yes, and
that's going to play a big part. So we just can't, willy-nilly buy players from overseas that and keep the squad as as inflated as it is. I reckon there'll be certain players going. I would probably see or think someone like Tavares would probably leave before Tierney does.
Why not both?
I don't think
both are going.
I think they both go.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, and Smith Rowe, him going, he's one of your trained homegrown quota. So it's something which it'll be interesting. It does see who goes. I just don't see that in terms of incomes. It's going to be that many.
I think KT is a dead cert to leave. I'm not sure on Smith Rowe. The only reason I'm saying Smith Rowe is he's not going to play on the left anymore. I don't think he's going to play as a left midfielder.
I'll be very disappointed if KT left. For the simple fact, so you've had a season where you've been challenged for your position. Suck it up. Play your way back in. Injuries happen. It's the same thing that he didn't start probably because he wasn't fit for the start of the season. He probably would have started at the start of the season.
At the same time, Canners, Tierney might look at the way how Arteta wants to play his football and go, I can't do that.
Yeah, I think there's one team he's going to, and it's up north. Starts with N.
Yeah,
I hope not, because he'll thrive there.
Yeah, he will. And for me, I don't want to lose quality players, but at the same time, if you're the best of the best, you're going to have a quality squad, and then there's some people that are going to be unhappy, and you're going to lose quality players. And Gunnar King said, Smith Rowe isn't going anywhere. The only reason I'm saying I don't want Smith Rowe to go. Smith Rowe, I don't want to lose because he's one of my favorite players, right? I'm okay with losing Tierney only because he's quality, but I don't think he fits the system that we play. And the reason I'm saying Smith Rowe is I don't know if you guys have seen, but the past week, do you know how many 8s and 10s we've been linked with? Like, it's ridiculous. It's just Julian Brandt, that kid from Celta Vigo, the Frankfurt lad that plays on the right, that also plays on 10. There's just so many links. There's Brahim Diaz.
Yeah.
Lindstrom, his name is. Jesper Lindstrom, I think. And there's just I don't know. There's just something seems off, and there's going to be a midfielder. If it's not Smith Rowe, then it's a certain CDM that people adore that I think is going to leave. Those are the only 3. But yeah, anyway.
We digress.
No, it's my fault. I was intrigued to ask your opinions on it, to be honest. Right.
All right.
Now let's brief everybody because this will be a tough one. Eddie, what are we going to do about Eddie? How has he performed for you for this season as well? We're going to start with James first.
Yeah, he's done good. He's done good when he's come in. As I've said on previous shows, I've been impressed with his development. He's done what I expected, maybe scored a few more goals than I did expect from him this season. But yeah, that's it. He's done okay, and that's where I'm at with Eddie. He's done okay.
Yeah, Canners.
I don't know.
I think that face says it all, doesn't it? Let's move on to Tony.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Come back to me.
Yeah. You know what was the fact when I was doing these stats was the touches per game. I know he comes on subs most of the time, but
I'm so conflicted though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he changes
really
our style so much, and that's clear in the stats there.
Because there's times when I'm just like, he deserves to be here, and there's times I'm thinking, no, we got to move on. We're a different level now. I'm so conflicted with this one. I really am.
Tony,
it is a tough one, Canners. It is, because no one expected him to do what he did when he, straight after the World Cup. We all panicked, didn't we? Come on, let's be real. When we saw Jesus was injured and Eddie was coming in, we were all concerned. He stepped up. He has stepped up. He answered some of his critics. Yeah, he's the boil a little bit. At the point we are now. But is that because he's never had a string of games, has he? Really? The more he's played, maybe it's tiredness, it's fatigue on his part. He's picked up a bit of an injury. I don't know. I think he deserves another year for what he's done. He wouldn't be my second choice, though. He wouldn't be my second choice, but he deserves another year at least. Canners, I'm with you, mate. It's a tough one, but I think he deserves,
because if you're looking at his stats, right, the amount of goals he's got, 32 and 124. Goal every 4 games, and they're not all starts.
Yeah,
no, exactly. No, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Bad,
so
really, is it?
No, I know he doesn't have all the touches and the assists, etc., but he has a role to play. Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I just thought that he's kind of, him and the team have performed admirably since Jesus got injured. Yeah, come on, man.
He deserves another year, right? Not necessarily his number, but he's and I think he's improving. Like I've seen him try and he doesn't do it as effective as Jesus, but he's trying. He's a pest as well. He's always chasing down the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's horrible. He's tenacious.
Yeah. I'll give him one more year.
So you're going to keep him?
I would keep him. Yeah.
Canners.
Can we loan?
It keeps Sale alone. So if you want to loan him, that's up to you. It's your decision.
I'd loan him.
Okay.
Just for the fact that I think Balogunner's coming back. However, I actually think Balogunner's gone. I think he's going, but and I think we probably will be buying a new forward.
No comment from me. I'll tell you that now. I know, but I'm not saying.
Okay, because I just saw, I don't know if anyone else did, but yesterday when it was they did a little piece on Sky with Balogun, and his body language and his facial expressions when they were kind of talking about him and saying that Arteta, has been watching you closely, blah, blah. It was like, I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Whatever. We'll talk when we get back. When I come, at the end of the season. I actually think he's gone.
Okay. So James, what are you going to do with Eddie?
See you later. I think
I'm glad someone said it because I was going to say sell.
I think it's an easy decision.
It's me.
Let me put it in this perspective, right? And the way I see it is, it's for me. We just had a discussion on Kieran Tierney, right? Kieran Tierney can play a role in this team, but is it to the standard that Arteta wants? And how he utilizes that player. For me, I don't think KT. He's at the level to be in this team, but just not the style of player, right? And do this again. Give me a second, Tony. Is in the sense of Eddie has done a job, right? But if we're to compete, and as Can has alluded to, and I've alluded to as well, is be at the top and dominate for longer periods of time. If you had the opportunity now to sign Manchester City's second striker, are you taking him or are you taking Eddie? And by second striker, I mean Julian Alvarez. Because for me, Julian Alvarez is levels above Eddie. And for what Eddie is good at is running at the goalie, really good at spinning his player in the box, goal line poacher, and he's improved in his general overall play, and his link-up play is getting better, right? But for what he offers us as a profile, as a player, I feel like there's better out there. And you'd get a decent fee for Nketiah. I think you can get 25, 30 mil from like a Palace. And for me, that kind of funding, you sell him.
Okay. But who's paying his wages?
Palace.
What, 100,000?
Brighton. Yeah, this is the Premier League. They don't care about... Nottingham Forest are playing Jesse Lingard like 200k a week.
Yeah.
But there was no fee involved, though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of mid-table clubs that are willing to pay... Because 100k is a lot for, I don't know, maybe a player of his quality, right? But if you're talking within the general wage set of the Premier League, Zaha, I don't know how much Zaha's on. I'm pretty sure Zaha's on like 180. I could be wrong. 150. I don't know what it is, but it's high, right? So I think a team like that comes in and pays it. So for me, he's a goer because of, I feel like what he offers, we can get better than him. But maybe that's just me being ruthless. I just feel like there's better out there for what we're looking for.
Yeah, Palace would pay that money. They do pay over 100,000 for their players. So same as Brighton. I know Lallana's on something stupid at Brighton.
Yeah.
So yeah, they will pay it. Say that again, Tone.
So Palace have got about 20 strikers, haven't they?
Yeah, but none of them can score.
Aston Villa. I'm just giving you examples of teams that might come in and look for him. I don't know, Wolves, Villa, Brighton, Palace.
Yeah.
You know
what? Wolves is a good shout.
Like,
wait a second. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Ollie Watkins or Nketiah?
Ooh.
Watkins.
Yeah, Watkins.
Okay. All right. So you lot had to think about that. How much is Watkins worth?
Not 25 mil. What they paid for him?
No,
how much did they sign him from Brentford? Villa signed him from Brentford. How much did they pay?
They paid 30 mil. They paid 30 mil for Watkins.
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing Nketiah a bit of a disservice, really. You guys had to think about Watkins or Nketiah, and you lot are talking about 25 mil for Nketiah. This is what's wrong with Arsenal at the minute, right? Is that we don't sell properly. Nketiah, listen, it'll be a hard choice. If you did a poll Nketiah or Watkins, you'd get quite a pretty much level going. I would think. I don't think there's much between those two.
Okay, so if you get 30 mil, are you selling? Because I'm buying.
Watkins would not leave Villa for less than 35, 40 mil.
It's circumstantial, though. He's their main striker. He's more vital to their team than Eddie is to us, and that's why you pay a premium for a player that's worth more to Arsenal than they are to Villa.
Now, the system that I use tells you the market values of the players. Now, that's Eddie's. Ollie is worth 33 million. So Villa would not sell for less than 50. I guarantee you that.
And you, so Bobby, Nketiah or Watkins, in your opinion?
I don't want either. If I'm honest, I don't want either. But
just going on
because Ollie gives me more. He gives me something different.
Right. But is it a lot more? Is it a lot more? Is it like 25 million more? If we're talking about selling Nketiah for 25 mil and Villa wouldn't sell for less than 50 mil, is it 25 million more that you're going to get?
Mate, I don't agree. I don't agree with these market values at all. But this is what they all use to sell their players.
I honestly think, that I could see Nketiah going on leaps and bounds in the right team. Probably. That plays to his strengths.
But I don't think that team is here.
No. Maybe not.
You say that, right? I'll give you another example. Is how much did Liverpool sell Rhian Brewster for to Sheffield?
20 million.
Right, what happened with Rhian Brewster after he went to Sheffield into a bigger market, a smaller market? He's in Championship.
Is he a DJ yet?
Brother, he's a bouncer at a club at this rate, right? So I get you what you're saying, Can, is in the sense of the value we probably as fans we see is you're comparing Eddie and Ollie, rightfully so, because they're similar age, English, Prem proven, right? It's a good example. I just feel like it's supply and demand of the player, and as I said, to Villa, Ollie Watkins is their main guy, right? So for you to prize an asset from that team that is a mainstay within it, it's going to cost you more because he's more vital to the team. For Eddie, he's a quality player, but how vital is he to this team?
Hey,
I don't.
ask Arteta between Jesus getting injured and now.
Yeah, but again, you can say that, right? But I'm pretty sure you can sign somebody that City signed Julian Alvarez from South America. I'm pretty sure for 15 million quid. If Julian Alvarez was on our bench now, in place of Jesus, it would not be a step down. It's the quality.
I think the South American market. I get what you're saying. The South American market, though, is totally different in terms of price.
It is, yeah. But this is what I'm saying. You could sell Eddie for 25, 30, and you could find someone on the market for that may cost less and may generate you more success based off of what they can offer the team. And that's why I think if you can get 30 million, if we could go back and Wolves offer us 20 million for Ainsley Maitland-Niles, are you taking it, or are you going, nah, it's all right, we'll keep you, and then you can go on loan to West Brom. Now you can go on loan to Southampton, and you're barely worth 7 million quid. It's about capitalizing on when we can sell best. I know we'll have differentiating opinions. Maybe it's the value. If we got 35 million, then you might be in like, right, okay, we'll sell it. Maybe it's the price figure.
Yeah.
But
just so you know, neither of them two are my number 2 anyway. So
yeah,
just gonna put it out there.
That's fine. The comments have been building up. I do apologise, everyone. They have gone absolutely mental. I didn't realise because as I said, I couldn't see the screen. Big up to G saying Trossard has been used as a false 9 centre forward. Yep. Moss is here. To start, how many times do you think he said Jonathan David in his comments?
Jonathan David count. He's on about 5 or 6 at the minute.
Okay. Big up to Moss. Hope you're doing well anyway. Let's get into trying to get some more comments here. Let's try and keep some of them here. Beerev, we'll talk about Beerev in a minute. Have to keep him. He's talking about Jesus. God, Jesus. Right. We're trying to skip through some of them. Yeah, I've seen Jonathan David there. They're talking about Jonathan David. I'm trying to scroll through, see if there's any of we're talking about Tavares, Laconca, El Neni. It's obviously talking about people we could be selling. Maitland-Niles is one. And I remember you saying, James, about how many midfielders. When I do that show, there's 19 midfielders I've got to talk about on that show.
Wow.
It's mad.
One.
Yeah, well, Gonza's doing that with me, so I think we might need like 2 hours to do that, to be fair. Moss saying here, Fresneda, David, Rice, Kylian Thuram, 200 almost. I think we're going to get 5, to be honest. So keep thinking, Moss.
Why don't you just go for 1 and just get Mbappe done? Flip it. Sod it. You know what I mean?
that I can agree with. Bring him.
I will tell you something off air about Mbappe. It's quite interesting, actually. So yeah, I do want to talk about him, but off screen because I don't want to get him into trouble. Right, let's talk about Balogun having a very, very, very good season, and I have to be honest, I love this kid. If I could have gone back last summer, I would have kept him and sent Eddie on loan. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. Don't shoot me. But I would have kept him. He's paid 29 for Stade Rennes, 6.9 average rating, which is very good. Goals, 18, 2 assists, 3 yellow cards. It don't really matter, really, with strikers. I'm going to start with Tony. Have you seen much of him actually play?
No, I've only seen goals. If I'm completely honest with you. I don't like the French league. Don't like it. If I'm just being honest. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
No, he's done. Look, let's give him his flowers. He's doing well out there. We all know the story about Reims, don't we? Because obviously the manager they're getting fined every game or something. Isn't they?
No, he's not getting fined anymore.
No.
Have they stopped it now, though?
Well, yeah, he's doing his pro license.
Good for him.
But they're doing well. The team is doing well. He's doing really, really well. And that's all I can ask for. I'm not with you, Bobby. I think the loan was the right move this season.
Okay.
He needs to get out there. He needs to get games under his belt. he is 21 years of age, so he needs to be playing a little bit more regularly, and I'm glad he is. But yeah, from what I've seen of him, and obviously, it's only going to be YouTube, and anyone, YouTube can make anyone look great. I would have to start watching some more French football, I think, just so I can actually watch him in games to make a proper judgment. But from what I've seen, I can only be impressed. The numbers are there, and they don't lie. So yeah, I'm glad he's doing well out there. That's all I can say.
Okay, Canners, have you seen much of him play?
No, but what I have seen, and I agree with Tony, I think in terms of that, him doing what he's doing and stuff. So the way I see it is that I liken him to a young Andy Cole, when he first burst on the scene, the way he plays, very kind of similar type of player. And look how Andy Cole turned out. Do you know what I mean? My only kind of worry about this kid is the fact that he comes back, goes to another Premiership team, and it's another one of those ones where it's just like, look what we lost. Look what what we've given up. But judging by his, I think he's gone. To be honest, though, I really do. I think he's gone. Okay. And also as well, just one last thing is, I think sometimes as well, we might as fans get caught up in this fact that he's a shiny new kind of toy. It's something we've all seen Eddie. We want to see something new. We want to see something different, and this is it or whatever. But I don't know. It's just one of those ones where he's going to have to come back in the summer, and Arteta's going to have to earn his money, and the decision what him and Balogun's team make.
Okay, James, have you seen much of him play? Or
yeah, I watch a few teams in the French league. He's done all right. He's doing good. I'm interested in what we do with him. I'm of the same mindset of Canners. I think he's leaving. And that's, I know you're going to ask me keep, sell, or loan. For me, I'd sell. And the only reason I'd sell, again, I think like it's the right time to sell. And you've got to maximize when you have a player that's either that doesn't. For me, I don't feel like he has a long-term position within this squad. Maybe that's just me being silly, but the way I look at it and our actual team, I don't think he fits. And he's, in terms of the striker market, he's probably one of the hottest commodities in Europe for teams. Now, for me, as I said, there's two players that I want to spend over £70 million on this summer. One of the teams that has the player that I'm interested in is also interested in Balogun, and they play in Italy. And I have a sneaky suspicion that
not Leao by any chance, is it?
Maybe, I don't know. And he might be a make weight in a potential deal. And I get where you guys are coming from. For me, I wouldn't sell him within the Prem, and I feel like we don't need to sell him within the Prem because he's attracting interest from all over Europe. He's a good player. Again, I just feel like what he offers requires a little bit more space to run him behind. Same with Eddie. His interlinking play is good, but again, we have that with Trossard and Gabriel Jesus, and they're elite at that. So for me, I'm selling him, and I'm not selling him to a Prem team because I think you can get 40 million quid easy for this lad. So with that chunk of change,
but do we hold all the cards on that?
We do. Well, I think so.
If him from a, I mean, if you look at it from, let's just say you're Balogun, but your aim is to play in a Prem, but they don't want to sell you to a team in a Prem. What are you going to do?
Well, again, this is hypothetical. If he only wants to go to the Prem, you sell within the Prem because that's where the money is. But I feel like it's a different situation with Balogun in the sense of you look at the size of the teams that are interested in him. They're, in Italy, in Spain, Atletico interested, Inter interested, AC Milan are interested. Those are three massive clubs, right? Within the Prem, how many teams are that big that will actually want him? Liverpool, I don't think so. United, I don't think so. Chelsea, I don't think so. Tottenham, we're not selling to Spurs. Newcastle, he'd rather go to those 3 teams, I think anyway. Maybe not, but I'm just talking on status and where he could be and elevate himself. I feel like that's where he'd want to go. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you have to sell in the Prem, I'd sell in the Prem.
I think just for him, I would personally like to kind of keep him, loan him though to a team in the Prem.
I don't think he'd loan, to be honest. I feel like it's the same with Eddie. Eddie's at a point now within his career. He's 23 and he's got Prem experience and he's proven it. Is you want to go on loan to then have his future uncertain? Like Balogunner's had the best year of his career so far in dominating in a top 5 league. I know it's people may not say the French league is good, and you might say, well, Lacazette's doing it in the French league, so maybe that discredits him a little bit because he's actually performing better than Balogun this season statistically, right? I just feel like both of them are at a stage now where they're going to want to, take the step and either become the main man or situate themselves where they want to be. And I don't know. For me, it's not here. And again, I could be wrong. That's just where my head's at.
To be honest, right, I do look at his numbers, right, because I've admittedly said I've not watched him in a live game or anything like that. But I look at his average rating there, scores 6.98. Most of that's probably from his goals. He scored 18 goals, assisted 2. That there suggests to me he won't fit our system. That's all I can see. I'm being honest.
I see where you're coming from. So, James, you're selling.
Yep.
Canners?
Loan.
Okay. Tony?
I would loan him.
Okay.
In the Prem?
I'll loan him in the Prem. Or even high-end Championship, but definitely the Prem.
Yeah, I'd like to see him and Lokonga loaned out to Burnley to play under Company.
Yeah, but I want to see him in a team that plays similar to us. Because like I said, I look at those numbers there. I want to see what else he can do. I know he can score goals, but what else can he do?
There ain't no one who plays like us. He ain't going Man City.
No, but you know what I'm saying, because with Burnley, all you
maybe
know
a Leicester then. Maybe a Leicester.
You know Burnley, hoof the ball up there and do whatever,
No. Burnley don't play like that under Company.
Yeah, but then the Championship's different.
Yeah, but yeah. I think it would definitely. I know I digress, but I think it would be good to have for
maybe he should Palace.
Yeah. Actually, Palace need a striker, right? Badly.
So the Wolves.
There you go.
Done. Yeah, King. I know. That's what I just said to Cannons. I know they do, but in the Championship, any team can do that. Then they come into the Premier League, then they play this defensive stuff. So
the thing is, what you got to remember as well.
It's all well and good saying that Burnley are playing possession football now in the Championship, but in the Premier League, it's a completely different story.
They do totally change their style of play every time they come up. Forest have tried to keep the same, but it really backfired on them. So, yeah. I want to get into some comments because they're building up again. I do apologise, everyone. It's just mad for comments today. Balogun is miles better and more developed and suited to our system than Eddie. South Americans players better and cheaper. Moss talking loads. 2 years left on his contract. We have to play him now or lose out. Problem with loan, yeah. But what I would say is Arsenal are being very sensible when they do this now. When we do loan, we do tend to sign them to a new contract before they go out. So I think if we were going to go down that option, I'm not saying we will, but we have to sell or extend. I think it's either or, possibly.
He's gone.
Yeah. Mbappe 19. Yeah, it's slightly. I get it, Moss, but
Lacazette has 17 goals and 4 assists.
I'm also going to say I'm going to say Shamak as well. And that is a player we signed, and he was he first or second top goal scorer in France?
Yeah,
Trevino was too, wasn't he?
Yeah, so it's not always worked, and that really doesn't apply to us. I don't see Balogun signing a new contract. Yeah, he definitely wants first team football next season. I do know that about him. And
he might want to stay out there,
There's no reason not to. He'll get paid well enough. But yeah, so we'll move on now to our youth. First, It's the only striker that's actually still with us at the moment in our youth setup, and that's Kayan Edwards. Played 8 goals, 3 won, one yellow card. Now, this one obviously might be a bit tough. People may not know enough about him. I'm going to start with you, Tony.
I've got to.
Oh, okay, mate.
So apologies, guys.
No worries, Candace. Thank you ever so much, though, mate.
Take care.
Take care, bud.
Good night, guys.
Right. Let's move on to Edwards. So, Tony, do you know much about Kayan Edwards?
I'll be honest. I've not watched a lot of Edwards. I hear a lot of good things.
Yeah.
But I would keep him at where he's playing at the moment. Obviously, for his development.
Yeah.
It'll be one I'll be watching out for. That's for sure. I do hear a lot of things. You speak highly of him.
Yeah, he's one of my favourites.
Yeah,
one of.
Look, played 8 and 4 goal involvements. That's good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, Premier League 2 is a very weird one.
Yes, it is.
Because I know you did put Charles Sago in the Twitter, but he's actually a winger. But we play a lot of wingers up front for some reason in Premier League 2. I think, to be honest, we're quite short in the squad for that because we sent so many out on loan. James, what are you going to do with Kayan Edwards?
I'm keeping him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a cracking player. He's just been unfortunate this season with injuries. He's missed quite a lot of football. I think he's been out for like 4 months, and only recently come back. I think, from what I remember, like the past week or so. For me, out of all of the strikers that we've got or we've produced, and I mean Eddie, Balogun, Mika Bieref, who we're going to speak about, and Kayan Edwards, he's the one that I think has the highest ceiling. So I'm 1,000,000% keeping him. Cracking player.
I am going to loan him next season. I think it is time just to give him a little bit of freedom. Thinking more mid-championship level next season, I think might surprise me. Hopefully it does anyway. Let's talk about the ones that are on loan. Tyrese John Jules, as far as I'm concerned, I think he's going to be going. I don't think there's any future for him at Arsenal at all. I think he knows this as well. So, James, we're going to quickly touch on Tyrese.
Another one that's just been unfortunate with injuries. I mean, he was on loan at Ipswich, played a couple of games, got injured, rehabbed at Arsenal, got sent back early Feb, I'm pretty sure, back to Ipswich. Only started to recover and then got injured again, and now he's out for a season-ending injury. And this has been the story for the past 2-3 years. He just can't catch a break, unfortunately, because he's quite highly touted, but he's just been so unlucky.
So are you agreeing that we should just sell now?
Yeah. Well, at his age, he's
22.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Tony.
You're selling. You'll probably stay in that league, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's about his level. No offense, Tyrese, but I think that is your level. Billy Vigar. Now, he signed, I believe, in January to Derby. James, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he joined with Kiddo Hart, didn't he? Taylor Hart.
Yeah.
I believe he's playing for the under-21s at Derby as well. He's not even in the full.
No, then they're not.
There is a lot. There is a lot of good talk about this kid. I this is one I don't know enough about.
Yeah, neither. I haven't. He's not someone that's been on the radar of me. From what I've seen in the youth academy anyway, he's not on. He's not really on my radar. But yeah, he's him and Keto. Pretty sure the under-21s they've been playing. Yeah. It's kind of like what's his face, Miguel Aziz, and is playing at Wigan in the under-21s, and then when you have Omar Rekic that is actually starting games for Wigan. So similar situation with those two.
But I've heard hopes about him. So what are you going to do about Vigar?
Keep him. Why not? I don't know what he's about, so I'll assess him. But if he's promising, then why not? I mean, he's playing for the under-21s at Derby, like is it the League One right now? So
Tony.
I'm with James. I like the idea that he's both footed as well. So he would definitely be one I'll be looking out for now. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to do the same. Keep him. Just keep an eye. Right. Nicolas Moller. He's at Den Bosch in Holland. Now, this is the one that is very different. He is tall and isn't very mobile. Now, this is why correct me if I'm wrong, James, but I'm pretty sure we paid for him. He didn't come through our academy.
No, we got him. I'm pretty sure we got him from was it Hertha Berlin when we signed Guendouzi, or was that Omar Rekik?
I don't know. I can't remember. That
was
was
one
Omar
of the
Rekik,
two.
Yeah, that was Omar. I've just this kid.
you.
I can't remember where he was, but I know I'm sure we paid.
He's Swedish, right?
Niklas Muller. Is he Swedish?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, because there's a lot of talk about him being like Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, well, I can see the comparison. He's like 6'4".
Yeah. But have you heard any good news? Because I've heard quite some positive news, but he's doesn't suit our style of play at all, which is why I started what I did at the beginning of the show. So what we're going to do with him, because if he doesn't suit our style of play, does he have a future at Arsenal?
Oh, we got him from Malmo. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, he's not someone that I was considering, and he's not someone I watch a lot of. But hey, I mean,
is this the guy that Zlatan talked about? I think Zlatan talked about him, hasn't he?
Probably. It was
he's
him or
Malmo
Jonathan
as well,
Isaac. It was one of the two.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he's 20 years old. See where he can go, where he can develop, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. He's one of the you've picked some good ones because Nikolai Müller and Vigor are the ones that I haven't really paid attention to. Vigor, I didn't even know much about. Muller, it's not someone that's really caught my eye, but he's built like a basketball player. He's
yes, he's tall. Yeah, so we're gonna. What we're gonna do? Keep him?
Yeah, we'll keep him.
Okay, Tone.
Yeah, we'll keep him. I'm not. I must admit, though, when I say I follow the Dutch divisions, is that I always notice that they score a lot of goals over there, a lot of goals. Especially Den Bosch, and 2 goals in 14 games concerns me a little bit. But he's young, but hey, why not keep him? We'll keep an eye on him. Yeah, This is what I love about this stream is that I'm going to be watching all these players now.
Yeah, you know me. I do loads of research and speak to loads. Right, so we got Nathan Butler. Can someone say this surname because I know I'm going to murder it.
Or you're dead.
Thank you. Because I know I would say something wrong. He is at Accrington. I think he again joined in January, so it's a late one. Hasn't really done much. Accrington, to be fair to Accrington, they are struggling. So to perform well in a very struggling team would be tricky anyway, which is why I said Trusty is doing a brilliant job at Birmingham. I'll start with you, Tony. What we're going to do with Butler, that guy.
Yeah, I load him out again.
Okay.
I see you've played 5 there. I would imagine they're probably sub appearances, most of them.
Yeah,
so you can't really base anything off that. I'd probably load him again. I don't know how long he's got left. 2024. Okay, maybe not then. Okay. Well, if you extend him, loan him.
Okay. It's been mainly starts, to be honest. Actually, I've just looked into his history.
Really? Yeah, but he said he's in a struggling side in a horrible division. Horrible division.
Yeah, League One is tricky for strikers.
Yeah, I can't really judge from this season. So, and there was a lot. I mean, I've heard of his name before, and I've heard a lot of people talk about him. So, it's actually quite disappointing to see that. Yeah, we'll keep with the idea to loan him out.
Well, this is why me and James are going to do that stream at the end of the season, talking about our youth, because we need to talk about it. There is a pressing issue that we do need to talk about. There are so much talent there, and
how we use them.
Exactly, and that's what me and James will talk about at the end of the season, won't we, James? We'll get into that a bit more detail. James, what are we doing with him? Sorry, but Nathan.
Make a beer, F.
No, Nathan.
Oh, Nathan. Sure, loan him. He's someone that someone that I haven't paid much attention to because he's not. I don't know. He's not come up on my radar as one of the more talented players. Tony said there's been quite a few people speaking about him. Maybe so. I haven't heard of them. So that's probably my bad. I need to, as Tony said, go away and look at this player because he's He's someone that I haven't spent a lot of time watching, but I will do so before our show because we've got to be informative.
Yeah. Right. Now it's the exciting one. I love this kid. Mika Birev. I want to keep him and just give him this massive golden throne and just sit him at the Arsenal. But anyway, Tony, what are we going to do with Mika? He's been at RKC. I know I can't. There's no chance I'm going to say their actual name, Wolzhik or something like that.
Yeah.
What I've heard is positive news, but the goals aren't there. But it's the Dutch league, and I know you can say that. Yeah, you tend to score loads, but he's a different style of player. He's strong, tall, and fast. He can actually move. We signed him from Fulham for $1 million, I do believe, James. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Fulham Academy.
Which is a lot of money, to be fair, from a youth academy. So, have you heard much about Birev, and what would you do with him, Tony?
I've heard a lot of promising stuff about him. I can't say I've actually sat there and watched him. Again, it's not an easy team to go and try and find a watch anyway. I would like to probably give him a loan out to a championship team.
Yeah.
Just to get more of an idea of what the kind of player he is. He sounds like more of a target man, which obviously is not something we're about. But if he wants to be at Arsenal, he will have to adjust his game and see if he can do it. So maybe a loan would be a good idea because there is a lot of problems around him. Yeah, I would probably do that, to be honest. And I know you rant and rave about him all the time. So
yeah,
there's got to be something there, Bobby.
I love him, James. Yeah, James, what are you going to do with Birev?
He's been unfortunate, man. I really like him. I really like him because I mean he's been on loan, but he's been injured so much this season. I mean, he's only got like 320 minutes in the Eredivisie. You think about it, that's less than 5 games, and a lot of them have come off the bench in sporadic 20-minute appearances here and there, right? But for me, and I keep badgering on about this, is I want someone tall in our forward line. I don't care if it's a winger or I don't care if it's a striker, but they have to be complete. And when I say tall, I don't mean Giroud. I mean a complete striker. So I went on a scouting mission, as you guys knew, about trying to find this type of player. You've got Dolberg, as I said, from Atlanta. You've got Ferguson from Brighton, who's on the top of my list. You have a lot of these players that are really, really, really good. Sesko, a good amount of players. And he's on the back burner for me because he seems to be a complete 9 with his attributes. I just feel like he needs more minutes because he has an unbelievable record at youth academy levels scoring. I think he got like 40 plus goals and assists on like 35 games at Fulham. And then he got like 25 plus goals and assists at Arsenal on like 30 games played. So the scoring is there. And he's slowly developing into the guy I want to be, because there's some players that you see, I don't know, I like an Evan Ferguson from Brighton to Wayne Rooney in the sense of how physically developed they were at a young age. I just saw on Twitter a clip of Evan Ferguson at 14 years old playing against Chelsea in Ireland, and he looked a man at 14, right? So Mika Birev, I feel like, can transform himself into that. I just feel like he needs to hit the gym a little bit, develop a little bit more. But he has everything. Close control, laying off. Some of the passing I've seen, I know it's hard to judge because the quality of the opposition he's played against is nowhere near the quality of these 2 players I'm going to liken this attribute to, but his passing and how he drops into the midfield collective reminds me a lot of Ivan Toney and Harry Kane, in the sense of how he drops in and he plays that ball either to the wingers or the fullback, where it's just, you know what I mean? That ball that splits the centre back and the fullback, where it's in between both of them and the winger comes in and gets it from behind the right. He does that so much. Really good aerial ability as well. He's 6'1", so he's got it all. I just feel like he's been unfortunate this season in the loan in the Eredivisie. I agree with you, Bobby, in the sense of out of all of our strikers and who I feel like I want within the team, it's him because I feel like he offers something different compared to the other bunch of strikers that we've got. By bunch, I mean Keon, Balogun, and Eddie.
Yeah.
So for me, he's the one that I feel like can break through, and he's on the back burner because if we don't buy a 6 foot plus complete striker, we have one. He just is. We just needs to develop into it. So yeah, he's. Hopefully, I've done him justice with that explanation, but he's a cracking player. He's got a lot of potential. It's just he needs to play and he needs minutes, and that's when I see we'll think him. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just nice to sometimes when you have your own opinion, you think maybe I'm crazy, but when you hear someone else say exactly how you feel, it makes you go, "Oh yeah, I feel better now." Because you can see it as well. Because he had a friendly as well for this RKC. I'm just going to call him RKC. I think he scored a hat trick in that friendly, and then it all just went downhill with injuries.
Yeah,
so honestly, he's so talented, and I'm so excited about him. And it's very unusual for us to pay for someone from an academy. And
yeah, I feel like we did it with how do you call it, with Greenwood, who's now at Leeds. Sam Greenwood.
Yeah.
So we got him for £1 million, and I think we sold him to Leeds for like 4 million quid.
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
But yeah,
so what we're going to do with Beerev? We're going to do him send him on loan next season.
Yeah, extend and loan because this kid is talented. I don't know how, as I said, I don't know how high his ceiling is, and I think Keon Edwards' ceiling is the highest out of all of the strikers we got. But uniqueness, he's the one I've got my eye on the most. So yeah.
I see. Sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy, but it's just nice to hear it from James. But, it is spot on. Just want to quickly get into some comments. Keon Edwards keep for under 21s. Yep. The reason I haven't mentioned Dewsbury, he is a winger, so he will be done in next week's show with G. We'll be doing wingers with me next week. And Moss, you're doing goalkeepers with me at the weekend, so don't forget that. Beerev better than Moller, it seems. For me, Moller is very different, and that's what confuses me because I don't understand where he's going to fit in because he can't move like what we actually require. So Balogun left foot cross was wonderful last week, and Zanetzi, I think, missed an easy header. Okay. Yes. So yes, we are done for that show, but it's brilliant again, once again. I will be back on, is it Sunday? I think I'm doing the goalkeepers with Moss. But thank you ever so much, James, for coming on. Where can everyone find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter at James the Armoury TV. That's my handle. So
thank you very much. Tony, where can they find you, my friend?
There we go, Twitter. At the silver one, 85.
But yeah, I'll be back on Sunday on the Armoury for another keep, sell or loan show. This time it'll be goalkeepers. Me and Moss will definitely clash on Matt Turner. We have very different opinions on him. I will be back also on Saturday to do the Tottenham Arsenal Women's North London Derby. That kicks off at 3. So tune in for that because that will be a very good game. And I will be doing the Spain-Norway game later in the day as well. So yeah, I can't wait for that. Me and James will definitely be doing a youth academy and talking about that at the end of the season when the season's ended. We'll go into a little bit more in depth on our young kids and we'll talk about how they're performing and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely make sure you tune in for that because James is brilliant at this kind of stuff. So big up to James for joining us as well today. It was an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. But before we go, as always, and I will start doing this in BSL as well now, just so everyone can learn it for any time you might need it. Come on, you Gunners. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.